Hey everybody, it's Sean from TVH in Victoria, BC. It is week 3 in July, and we are looking at the progress of the garden. As you can see, the onions are growing quite well. I've pulled a couple already. These are the scallions, and they're doing quite well. I'll give them maybe another 2 weeks, and they should be ready for harvesting. The grape plant is doing quite well as well. Like I had mentioned in previous videos, we're most likely not going to get any fruit from this year. We're just letting it establish along the trellis for next year's growth. Further down, the blueberry plants are growing quite well. We have the blueberries producing fruit. We've been harvesting raspberries pretty much every day, so there's probably not many ready to be eaten today. And again, another grape plant that's doing quite well as well. This one is a green grape, and we're just getting it to establish this year and hopefully produce fruit next year. And then down here, I have transplanted some. These are dragon tongue beans, bush beans, in the front. And then I have the Blue Lake bush beans, which are actually growing beans now, as you can see. So maybe a week or two and this thing will be full of beans. You can see them down there. The tomato plant, I'd say, is probably about 5.5 feet now, and this was just a test run to see how well it would grow in this corner bed, and as you can see, it's doing very well. The fig trees are surpassing the height I was expecting this year, so I probably cut down some of them at the end of this year. But as you can see, we have figs growing all over. And underneath we have our green beans that are hiding behind the fig trees, and they have climbed up the trellis here. There haven't been any beans as of yet, but probably in the next couple weeks. And then here we have some plums on our plum tree. Some of them have started to go purple. Most of them are still green. Probably got another month before we'll be able to pick. And down to our tomato plants. You can see they have grown quite a bit since the last video. This one is about 6 feet now, and it is starting to produce tomatoes. These are all indeterminate tomato plants, so they'll grow throughout the season and continue to produce as long as weather permits. Here's some more of our tomatoes here. We have, these are the money makers, so they'll be decent size and produce quite a few tomatoes. Let's see if we can get a nice angle of the young ones. There we go. And we've got more over here and more over here, and then we've got the big ones here, the more mature ones. We also have peas back here that we've been growing on the trellis, so we'll be doing some picking today and see how many we can get from there. There's more down there. So if we reach between the tomato plants here, we can start pulling some of these peas. There are quite a few that are are ready for picking. If you pick them early, they're great for stir fries or just eating right off the plant. Some of these are a bit large. That's fine, they'll taste great. These are the sugar snap peas, so they're quite sweet. And very plentiful. We have about 3 plants here, just loaded with peas. I advise, if you're growing peas, to use a trellis system. As they do get pretty viney. There we go. And as you can see, this is just a quick harvest right here of some of the peas. Delicious. So when you start to see yellowing on your tomato plants, this is in fact a disease. So what you want to do is, before it spreads throughout the rest of your tomato plant, is snip those branches. As you can see, the yellowing. And do dispose of them. Don't put it in your compost. And just, do a good clean pruning. It is always advisable to prune the bottoms of your tomato plants to prevent any more disease growing. There you go. And, as long as there's still some leaves on your plant, it'll be quite happy. And I'll show you here. I've pruned quite a bit down at the bottom here, but there's still quite a bit growing on this plant, and it looks like this one is starting to create buds here, so I look forward to getting tomatoes from this plant as well. These are about 5 feet now, but they'll keep going, and I'll probably need to get some bigger stakes. I put a bigger stake in this one because it's already at this stage, so this will probably only last maybe 2 more weeks, and then the stake may not even be big enough. As you can see, our platinum lavender has grown quite well. There's quite a few flowers on here. These are great to plant to attract pollinators. It helps when you can't self-pollinate everything yourself. As you can see, the cucumber plants have gotten quite wild. They're starting to climb over. They're just about ready to start trailing over the garden beds. And if we have a good look here, let's find them here. There's one there. So there's a cucumber. It's not quite ready. There's another one down there. And there's quite a few, in fact. There's a whole bunch of little ones starting up. And some that are starting to darken. If you do see females like these, I recommend grabbing a male. A male doesn't have a fruit on the end underneath, so you can, for example, this is a male flower, and you can actually pluck it like so, and in the inside is the stamen. So what I typically do is I'll break off the petals and to get to the stamen, And then what I do is I will pollinate inside just to help where I can to produce more cucumber plants or cucumbers. So yeah, that's doing very well. The Carolina Reaper, it is the hottest pepper in the world, is now starting to produce buds. So I'm looking forward to seeing the fruit from here and definitely start cooking with it. I don't think I would cut into it and eat it, but it would be great in some of our cooking dishes. It looks like a lot of this could be cut and thrown in ice cubes for later use. So today we will be making a stir-fry dish. So we'll be using some of the chives right here. So we'll put some chives in there, and I think we'll get some parsley too. Because that's great. And then with the knippers, I'll grab some onions as well. These are green onions. And yeah, we're just gonna cut some of the tops off and place that in there. As you can see, the Niagara grape has started to trail even further. It's passing the rosemary, and I'm hoping to see it grow to the end of this post at the very least this year. It's quite happy, as you can see, and it'll be exciting to get grapes next year. So we had this cucumber plant right here on our upper deck, and it wasn't doing too well. We brought it down, fed it some plant fertilizer and water, and as you can see, the leaves have started to go quite green. They're very happy. So I'm hoping it'll start producing some cucumbers as well. And same with this tomato plant. It was on top. I brought it down and it looks a lot happier, and there are quite a few blossoms on this tomato plant. The butternut squash plants. Oh, we missed it. Oh, there it goes. We've got hummingbirds flying all over the place here. Our butternut squash plants are starting to come up, and along with our avalanche beets. We've harvested a couple already. They're amazing. I do recommend trying them out. They're white beets. Let's see if I can show you one again. There's one growing there. And then of course we have a little butternut growing. We'll see how well that does. It doesn't get enough sun here. I wish I had planted them a little bit more into the sunny areas, but the plant seems to be producing more foliage, so that's a good sign. So if we take a look in the greenhouse, peaches are growing quite well, along with our little peppers. They seem to do quite well in here. And the tomato plant, we've got it going up to here now. That's about 7 feet. So that's a good sign. We're going to trail it up the string that we've placed and let it continue to produce well into the fall. We've been eating strawberries pretty much every day, and we've harvested all the bok choy, and we have transplanted our pepper plants into this garden bed. I was thinking there was going to be a bit of transplant shock, but they took quite well to the transplant, which is great. As you can see, the kale is growing quite well. I'm thinking we're going to put some in our stir fry today. I recommend cutting from the bottom as all the new growth comes to the top. So just harvest from the outsides at the bottom, and it'll just keep growing throughout the year. We've put this in the greenhouse because we're just testing it out, see how it grows compared to outside. We also have some dinosaur kale outside in the lower garden. So this looks delicious. We've also transplanted some of our New Zealand spinach that we started from seed, and as you can see, they're doing quite well. We've also trimmed out some of the mint and dried it and bottled it for teas. Looking at our seedlings, these are the Halona melons. They're getting up there. I'm probably going to plant them midweek into the ground. And then these are just some of the peanut plants right here. And we have the bush bean plants. I planted extra bush beans because you can't go wrong with bush beans. I've also got the Mexican chili peppers here. It's a little late in the season, so we'll see how well that grows. I have ground cherries also late in the season, but I'm hoping for a hot summer and into a warm fall, hopefully. And then over here, these are our Table Queen squashes that I started from seed as well. And they're just about ready for transplanting. I haven't quite decided where I'm going to plant them. These are some cucumbers, and these are tomato plants that I actually started from suckers, and I'll do another video at some point showing you how you can actually produce more plants from suckers that grow from your existing tomato plants, and they're ready to be transplanted into the ground as well. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe below. Until next time, happy gardening.